life that is 88% happy, because that voice will not release you until you become strong enough in your balance-centered self to do that. Another one is, there's so many. So I'm just thinking, which one should I know. So if you're a woman, your critic will actually be stronger than most men's. So I actually have a set of motivational cards called 52 card pick-me-ups, Stacking the Deck for Life Balance with Dr. Marissa. And if you come to one of my book signings and get a book, I'm going to give free motivational cards there. So the card says, have a guy day. Okay. And people are like, huh? So have a guy day means most women are particularly hard on themselves. They think they're fatter, not as smart, and uglier than they actually are. Okay. Now, and then when you compliment them, how many times you compliment a woman and they're like, you go, nice hair. And they're like, oh, I didn't even wash it today. Right? Or, oh, I didn't like the way that cut. Or nice earrings. Oh yeah, I 55 cents, at the store. Or constantly undoing any kind of compliment. So most women do that. Most men, on the other hand, think they are smarter. Now, this is not men bashing. This is actual studies, okay? Think they are smarter, better looking, more buff, and have more hair than they actually do. Okay? So I want you to learn from that. I want you to be less critical, women, of yourself and have a guy day. Look in the mirror like a guy does. Have you ever seen at a gym the difference between a woman and a man looking at themselves in the mirror? It's hilarious. The woman's like, like, ooh, God, what? And the guy's like, right? I mean, it's have a guy day, do that, strut, you're gorgeous. Most, women are gorgeous, right? And I do have some clients that go, that's not fair. I don't feel like that. I'm a guy and I don't think, my body's. Okay. I admit, right? I'm making a huge generalization, but I've met more men who follow that than not. So if you're a guy that is very critical of themselves, have a different kind of guy day. So that's number 2. So number 3, what I'll make this personal. What do you do that keeps? Oh no! I never mind. I got one. 88%. 88%. And I found pianos have 88 keys. And I just was speaking at City Gala yesterday, or City Summit yesterday. Ryan Long's events, who's a friend of both of ours, and he had me on stage in a panel. And one of the other speakers was, I forget his name, but he's health and well-being. And he said there were 88 cellular functions, I think, in our body. So I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that. So this is for all the perfectionists in the audience. And I specifically wrote a chapter just for you, because a lot of perfectionists have had no trauma. Now, a lot of people who have had trauma use perfectionism as a coping device. But the first chapter is on loneliness, and a lot of people who've gone through trauma have that feeling. So out of loneliness into hope. The second chapter is out of loss into faith. Third is out of heartbreak into love. Fourth is out of hatred into forgiveness. So those are usually people who have had some kind of trauma. Out of shame into dignity. 6, out of fear into freedom. The second last chapter, out of perfectionism into joy, is for the ones who haven't gone through trauma, who make trauma for themselves. And the trauma is this. If you're a perfectionist, and I just love perfection, I am a recovering perfectionist, we think it's a good thing to say, I'm my own worst critic. Like it's some kind of a freaking badge that I'm harder on myself than anybody else. And it's not a badge. It's a curse, because it will never be enough. You will never do enough. You will never have enough. You will never be enough. And it's a constant living in the 12% of what is not yet done. So if this is 0 and this is 100, and it's a goal or a project or something you want to do, most perfectionists go, and they're 88%. So from here to the finish line is 12%. And the good news about the 12% is what's wrong, what still needs to be done, what do I need to transfer over into tomorrow's to-do list, how do I accomplish the rest of this, right? Nothing wrong with that, except that, and we'll say, when I get to the finish line, I'll turn around and say, good job, right? But that's a lie, because as soon as you hit the finish line, you're on to the next goal, and then you're at 88%. So you're constantly looking at what's wrong, what's not done, right? And it's tension and unhappiness. Perfectionists live in a constant state of tension, unhappiness. It's not good enough. And the worst part is we treat people the same way. So, when I have time to date, which is never, I don't go out with Mr. Loser, that's 0. I look for Mr. Perfect, which is not there. I usually date Mr. 88%, right? Now, I talk in the book of, in chapter 4 on love, I talk about the pregnancy model of relationships, which is really cool. And I'm not going to talk about that because you have to get the book. So, but usually, the first 3 months, everything's great, right? It's all glowy and everything. And then reality sets in second trimester. And this is when you don't see the 88% that's good. You're faced at, why doesn't he text back? And why is he always late? And why doesn't he put the toilet seat down? And why, constant, what's wrong? And that ruins relationships for perfectionists, because you're not going to find that perfectionism. You're not ever going to. So the tool here is turn around. So at 88%, look at all the wonderful things that you've accomplished today. At the end of the day, when you're in bed, do not think about this 12%. You think about this 88%, and you give yourself some love. Wow, that was awesome that you did that. You didn't even feel like it, and you did it anyways. And isn't it great that this happened? And isn't it great that that happened? So that practice becomes a habit, right? It takes 21 days to create a good habit, 21 days to not lose a bad one. So you begin to see yourself 88% well, you see other people 88% well, and you see projects and processes and the things that you're doing as 88% good. That will give you 88% happiness. How's that? Was that a good tool?
That was great tools. I can't wait to get the book. I cannot wait.
Good.
I'm going to make it a requirement in my Women Redeem group.
Yay! Love it,
Yeah.
love it.
And definitely incorporating it in all speaking audience to point back to your values as we come to the conclusion of this amazing, incredible, outstanding first episode of Life Unscripted. You have your book that is dropping.
Yes.
You have an app that we can download, and we will be sure to put all your social media handles on the podcast, because you are tremendous in value knowledge that will definitely unscript so many BS belief systems, as you had stated, that will get people, our listeners, to the next level of living a happy 88% life.
That's
according to your video. So, and if we could add any more value to your own purpose and journey, what is your want list that we can help you with?
I would love for you to go and 8waystohappiness.com on August the 7th and buy between the hours of 11 and 3. If you're not in California or Denver, if you're in California, Southern California, I have 5 book signings or 6 book signings in 4 days. One in Denver on Thursday, August the 6th. Thursday, August the 9th. And then my birthday is August the 10th. I fly back to Aliso Viejo, Barnes & Noble's at 7. Saturday, Marina Pacifica, Barnes & Noble at 12. Saturday, 4 p.m. at Barnes and Noble, 6 o'clock Barnes and Noble in Burbank, and then in Redlands at 4 the following day on the 12th, and then my opening where you get tons of prizes and tons of gifts is at Fern's Garden in Long Beach, California. So that's for all my local people. I definitely will come out to Florida to do a signing. My publisher's red carpet is actually in Nashville, so I'm going to make a round in the fall and maybe come out and see y'all in Florida.
We would be more than happy to absolutely host something. We're going to work on that because, your presence just here is just, as I said, just authentic, that energy. We talk about spirits and everything. But imagine, I don't even know how we're going to handle ourselves, Janie, when she comes in person. It would be that red carpet shay.
Yes, all the way.
Well,
we definitely will.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Dr. Marissa Pei. I mean, you have armed our listeners with so much value and just a truckload of. If you were the first and last guest we ever had on Life Unscripted, we would start and end this podcast saying we have accomplished what we had set to do because of people like you.
Thank you.
So,
and please go to my Facebook, Dr. Marissa, and give me the finger. A thumbs up. Yeah. And then on Instagram, I'm Doc Balance. And then, of course, you can listen to the show live streaming, my website, drmarissa.tv. My YouTube channel's free. Subscribe for all of those interviews that I've done. Love to stay in touch with you. We're in this together. Each one of the 7.3 billion of us are unique, beautiful, loving, lovable, and loved creative beings who are wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. And that's my job, is to continue to splatter that all over the planet. So I need you. There's stuff on my wall that you can share. I've got a Day Cause campaign right now. So if you have friends on Facebook, we can reach gazillions of people instead of just hundreds or thousands, because I want everybody to be happy 88% of the time, because they deserve it.
Well, for those listeners who may not be seeing this video, when she said give the finger, it's the thumb. Okay, so give the thumb on all her social media. And not any other finger, please.
It's
just
the like.
We
certainly will continue to support you and all that you're doing. You are a beautiful person, and you're just bringing so much life and hope to those that you are impacting, and I can feel it. And we look forward to continually collaborating with you in the future. So we want to thank you again, Dr. Pei. We have come to the end of our first episode, and what an outstanding way to get this podcast going. What do you think, Melody?
We could just have her in the next 20 podcasts. We'll be great.
I love you guys.
But we love you. We thank you again for blessing us and all the listeners around the world with your life journey and completely unscripting all those limited beliefs that look at you now.
Yeah.
And that means if Dr. Marissa Pei can get there, guess what? We are with her, all 7.2 billion. You just have to tune into our podcast consistently to follow folks that are just outstanding like her, and follow her in all her social media handles. We definitely will, with Life Unscripted, be one of your number one fans. So as we come into this conclusion, this is your host, Melody Garcia.
And Janie Lacey. And remember to live life happily unscripted.
And for more information, please visit janielacey.com, melodygarcia.com, lifeunscriptedjm.com, and you may also send us an email at lifeunscriptedj as in Janie, M as in Melody, so that's lifeunscriptedjm@gmail.com. Until next time, live a happy, unscripted life.
It's all about balance. Peace in and peace out. World peace, inner peace.